In this video, we're going to learn more about the comp operators known as components. The cool thing about this family is they are unique in compared with the other operator families is because these operators contain their own networks. It's like what? For example, I'm going to close this and going to out. You can see right now we are inside of a container. I can go inside, I can create another container, and then I can go inside and I can create another container. So we can create a lot of network inside a lot of containers. It's like what? When we use that in many ways, and I'm going to explain you when. For example, for a visual, I'm going to out. I prefer to use a container because here in layout, we have the resolution. For example, here we have the width, the position, all of this. We have a lot of information. So when I go inside, I can create, for example, a network. I'm going to use a movie file in. I want this banana. I'm going to add a transform. I want to rotate this, so I'm going to add a rotation ABS time. That's seconds multiplied minus 15. So I want this banana rotate, and then I create a null. And this is important for a container. I'm going to out. And right now, I don't see what is inside. I don't have my visual. Because if you go to look, right now for the file, we have this out one. So I need to go inside and change this name, this null, to out one. So again, out. And now we can see this preview of this visual. So for me, when I use a container specific for visual, or when we're going to create a UI or user interface, I'm going to explain you later. But I need to show you another one because here I show you we have container, we have these beautiful parameters, but at the same time we have base. And with base, we don't have parameters. Similar, inside of this base, it's nothing. We can create our networks. When we use base, and for me, container is for visual, base is for effects or specific things. For example, right now I have this banana and I'm going to create an effect. For example, I'm going to create here a null and I'm going to create, for example, a feedback, simple feedback. This is an effect that I'm going to explain in another chapter, but the effect, this feedback is going to repeat the previous frame and like infinite. And then I need to create a level. Then I'm going to create here a composite after the null one. Composite. Select operation maximum, connect level. And the feedback, I'm going to send the level, the compo. You can see this preview repeating, and I'm going to change in the level, the opacity. So I have this infinite thing. I'm going to add a transform here before the out one and enable the background. So I have this effect. And then the problem with this is like you starting creating more and more effect many times. And this will be a big network. Or sometimes like I want to use this effect many times. And I don't want to create it again and again and again in another project. How I can do, I don't know, simplify this. The cool thing is we can select all of this null, the feedback, the level, and the composite. And on the grid, we're going to press the right button of the mouse and we're going to select collapse selected. When we do that, TouchDesigner create a base. And then going inside, we have our network. Cool. So the cool thing right now with the base is like I can copy this and go into another project, or I can go to palettes that I'm going to explain later, obviously. And I can drag this to, for example, to Paola, and I have this vase, and I can use it many times. I have my network here on my effect. So that is the cool thing. I can save this effect and use it in other projects. But the cool thing about at the same time is that we can, for example, right now it's like, oh, I want to change this. I need to go inside, change the level, go outside, and all the time inside, outside. Or maybe we can divide the screen. We can go to this vase to the right and change here the effect. And we can see on the left what we are doing. But for me, it's not the best way. So the cool thing about this base is we can maybe change the parameters, for example, this opacity, from the outside. How we can do that? I'm going to select this face, right button of the mouse, and we can select Customize Component. Right now, we need to generate this tab. Right now, we have base, extension, and common. I'm going to can generate or create one that the name will be General. Add. And we add this general, perfect. We want to change the opacity, and the opacity is a number, it's a float. So I'm going to change this, it will be opacity, and we need a float, yes. And the float, we can change the number here. The range will be between 0 and 1, it's okay. And I'm going to copy this parameter, going inside to the level, and I'm going to paste by the space binds, like they are connected. Right now, I can change the opacity. You can see an effect. I'm going to divide this so you can see what is inside. The level here on the right, the base to the left. So every time when I move, you can see here on the left of moving, it's affecting here. And this is important. I'm going to explain you, because right now what I did, I pasted less a bin. Many times we use reference. I can show you. We can move it and change, but the difference is this: when I paste like a reference, it's like sending from this one to the left to the right. But what happens if I change the opacity from the right? The connection was lost. The reference is just for one direction. When I do the paste for bind, it's for both. For example, I'm going to move to the left, it's affecting to the right. If I move to the right, it's affecting to the left. It's connected for both direction, left and right. So that is the cool for bind. You can use it for specific things. For me, I try to use this bin paste when I create this specific effect or components. So yeah, we have this opacity. Maybe we can create we can add another thing. Maybe I'm going to create here a transform, and I'm going to change the scale. So for example, I'm going to change this opacity. You can see we have that duplication, and I'm going to change the scale, this infinite. Okay, so in the base in the left, going to customize, going to create another one, will be a scale, and the scale will be maybe between, I'm going to add, and the scale will be between 0 and 1.5, something like that. Close. And I'm going to copy this scale and send it to the scale to the right. Bind. I'm going to change this scale. You can see right now I'm affecting the scale. So yeah, that is the cool thing about the base. We can create our own effect or our network, and we can control them from the outside. Okay, so that is the cool thing about have many containers and create their own network inside. So for me, again, containers for a specific visual, and bases for effect, tools, other things. What else we have? Obviously for 3D that I showed you before, we have the camera, we have geometry, and we have light. That 3 elements. And in material, I think I show you, yes, the environment light. That is for 3D things. We can, for example, going to save this. For example, you have a big network, and for have everything organized, I can create, for example, an annotate. I can put these 2 boxes, and I can put, I don't know, tabs. And the cool thing, I can move and connect that. It's like we create a group and we can change, we can add that text like, oh, nice tops. We have the information here and we can change if you want the color for this. Maybe it's more dark, something like that. Nice. At the same time, we have, just in case, we can press the right button and we have annotate on network box. The network box is similar, but the problem with the network box, is we can't set up the colors. I tried to use annotate because yeah, it's color much better for me. But yeah, we can, the cool thing right now, we can put information and remember what we created here. What else we have? And I'm going to show you, I think one of your best friend is animation and Windows. Animation and Windows. For animation, sometimes I'm going to change a little bit. Give me a second. Scale 1, opacity for this feedback, not too much. For example, you are working in a video. This is for real time and not real time, but this is for a video. And you need to create, for example, in the frame, and right now we have 600. In the frame 200, we need to change the scale of this banana. Because, I don't know, something with the music, in that moment, the music is like do a click or something. So it's like how we can do that. You can do it with twins, you can do it with code, but the cool thing, we have this tool, this animation. So right now what I'm going to do is press this edit animation. We're going to see this line here, or this timeline. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this. And here to the left, I'm going to create an effect. What I want to do is change the scale. So I'm going to change this to a scale. I'm going to add channel. When I do that, I create this line. You need to press Alt and the left button of your mouse for select, for example, here. You create this dot, and then we're going to, here in the F, we're going to select this frame, in the frame 200. Perfect. We're going to start something. And I'm going to add another one. I'm going to add another one. And will be in the frame 400. And the phone is going to start in the 200, and then the 400 is going to finish. So I'm going to change the value, I don't know, 2. I'm going to press H. I'm going to preview everything. I'm going to move this a little bit because I don't see anything. Give me a second. How we can move this to the left, because I need to see that bottom. Perfect. This point. And I'm going to put that final point to the same, will be 2. So I create this into 200, I'm going to up, 2, and then 0. But I want to, in the 200, the scale will be 1, and at the beginning it will be 1. Perfect. So the cool thing, the system right now, if I move the timeline, you can see here in the animation, the number is going to move here. And we have all of that animation. So the cool thing, I can go to maybe transform. I'm going to change it here in the first transform. I can change that scale, reference. I'm going to press space. You can see the animation is growing up. Finish here and keep there. Another thing that we can do, obviously, is we can maybe change this dot to, it's going to grow up in the 100. It's going to finish in the 300. Going to add another one, Alt bottom left. Set up this into 400. And then the final 600, I'm going to return to 1. So I'm going to group, keep, and back. So I'm going to press space to return. See, you can see the banana now is going up. Then keep in that size, and then return to 1. So the cool thing, this is aligned to the timeline. And you work specific with frames and values. Another thing that we can do is the cool thing, we can add more parameters here. It's like, okay, right now, after that, I want to change, I don't know, the position. Okay, I'm going to write here, pos Y, and add channel. I select pos Y, and I can see the line. And again, I don't know, I'm going to check the position 0.4, for example. Going to up and down. I don't know. So I'm going to add here a line, dot, sorry. And here a dot. Or maybe not just one. Maybe not just one, Control Z. Going to put this in the middle, so we'll be here, select one, that point, and then frame 300. And I'm going to put the values 0.4. And now I have it. You can see here is pos Y. I'm going to connect that to position. So going to up. At the same time, it's a scale. And then return. So yeah, with this animation, you can connect, or you can create amazing, and I don't know, it's like effect when you want in a specific time. So I can close this. Another thing that a lot of you ask me is like, okay, you have this visual, beautiful, I want to do it. Oh, I have a live show, how I can show this in a projector or in another screen. That is the reason that we're going to use window. With window, it's very easy. We have this window with all these parameters. We're going to send this out one. This is my final visual, and we're going to connect here to window operator. And we have, for example, monitor 0, 1. Right now I have 3. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to enable this camera on the left. I'm going to put light. Give me a second so you can see much better. Yeah, this contrast. Okay. So for example, we have this other monitor and I want to show this banana to this left monitor. How I can do that? I'm going to show you step by step. First, like what happens if we have this visual and we have this here in the bottom, we have open as separate windows. Yes, open. When I do that, you can see here in my screen, this is like a box. Right now my resolution of this visual is 1280 by 1280. It's not full screen. We have this border, everything. Okay, how we fix that? I can close this. We have a few parameters. We can obviously, you can see here, we can open this to the, for example, I can put this to the right and top, and I'm going to open. It's going to up to the top right. So we can control that position. But right now, it's okay, center. But for me, the important thing is we have options. I can put fill. Okay, when I do that, I'm going to open again. It's open full screen, but again, we have this white thing from Windows. I'm going to close. And we have this border here in the parameters. I'm going to disable that. Going to open again. Right now, I don't have this bar from Windows. I don't see the border, so it's full screen. So that is nice. We are full screen with our visual. I'm going to add more effect for a banana so we can see more things. I'm going to disable this so you can see here in the top left our visual. Obviously for the camera, the color is not quite exactly, but it's the idea. What else we can do with the windows? For example, sometimes you're going to be in live show and you're going to just for error, you can see right now here, you can, maybe it's too small, but you can see my mouse was moving. So we need to hide that. So we have a parameter so where we can hide that. So we have this never. So I'm going to move my mouse there and now you don't see nothing. So that is cool. Another thing that is important, try to put this always on top, because maybe you make a mistake and you open maybe something and it's open in that window, so it's perfect. Put this always on top. And another thing, we have this close and escape key. So if I go to that window, I press the escape key, it's going to close. try to disable that. Why? Because maybe you, for error, you press that in. You don't want that. And allow minimus, or I don't know how to say that. I can zoom in, minimize. Try to again disable that just in case. And with that, we have our visual and full screen in another projector or in another screen. You need to just check which monitor you want to select. And you have that. What I do sometimes, I create here a button. So yeah, this is things that I need to show you. Buttons, like buttons. So I create two. One, I'm going to change the name to open. Another, I'm going to change to close. So I prefer connect all of this. I'm going to create here a null. And here a null. So in the open, I'm going to drag this open. And then for the other ones, close. And we need to set up this button to momentary. So when I press open, it's going to open. When I press close, it's going to close. We have options. You can see here is open as performing windows. When you do that, this window that we have this in this grid is going to disappear, and we only going to have this, the output, the visual of the banana. So for me, depend of your computer and everything, I prefer to have this TouchDesigner because sometimes I like to, I don't know, change things in real time. So that is the difference with Perform Windows, and at the same time, the name said it's better for performance, but I prefer use this one. But depend of your computer, just in case. Another thing that we need to check, I'm going to move all of this here, is I'm going to hide the other thing and close this so we don't use too much the computer. Another thing that we can have, I can show you, is a container. But for example, you create this beautiful banana. And you have maybe a lot of effects, many. I'm going to change this to change the name effect. You have many effects, and you don't have a MIDI controller for control all of this, and you need to be there here, like moving. I want to change the scale. You're going to use your mouse. It's not too good because maybe you move too fast and you change the effect too fast here in the parameters. So for me, I try to work with a MIDI and sometimes with a visual, with a user interface. So how we can create a user interface. So for example, what I do, I'm going back, and here I'm going to create a container. I prefer to have it, the container here is like to another between of this box to the visual. So for me, I'm going to select. I have the resolution. Maybe I can create maybe something like 600 by 600. I can press the right button. I can put view, and I have the box, the preview of all of this. Perfect. What I can do is create inside, for example, I want to create a preview of this banana, and then in the bottom, I want to control the effect. Perfect. So what I think about it, you have two options. Option one is create here a container, two containers. I'm going to change the color. For example, will be a look. I'm going to enable this. I'm going to put blue, and the other will be going to be red. And layout, we can change, for example, the width. I'm going to put fill, and fill is like automatic. The same for the other one, fill and fill. Going out. Right now, everything is red because here the parent, this is the parent. We need to go to children and select the line. Right now, I can select, I'm going to move so you can see. The line will be top and bottom. Right now, it's blue and red. I can select the space between of that. It's an automatic scaling because remember, inside, we select fill and fill. If I want, for example, change the order, it's not just put the blue, red there, and it's not that. We have, for example, I'm going to put the red here. We have here a line order. Right now, 0 is the first one. So for example, I want the red first. I'm going to move this just because I want to see this and understand the red is the first one and blue is second one. And the blue needs to be order one. I'm going to back. You can see now it's red and blue. You can go inside. I'm going to move the position. I'm going to put the blue 0 and the red 1. So blue is in the top, red is in the bottom. So with this align order is how you're going to align things. So we have option 1, create that. Or another way is maybe we can create a container again. I'm going to change this resolution, 600 by 600. And what I can do is I'm going to duplicate this one, copy, and I'm going to change fill again and fill. And I'm going to change the color. I'm going to do the same, blue. I'm going to paste one. I'm going to paste, this will be red. And what I can do is connect like a child. This is the parent, these are the children. So again, with the container, I can go to children, put top to bottom, and we have the same effect. The cool thing about this, what is the difference between this one and this one? For me, at the beginning, I use a lot of this one, but the problem is like, oh, then I need to go inside of this and I add buttons, slider, and everything. So it's like inside of inside of inside. But the cool thing with this way, it's like we can have everything from here. So we can see, understand what happens. Like, oh, this is the parent, this is the children. So, okay, we have this information. We can put this space. It's the same, absolutely the same. So cool. I'm going to change the colors to bright. Right now, maybe a gray. And this is another gray. Perfect. So the cool thing, I'm going to this container 3. And here, because it's in the top, I want to see the preview of my visual. So I'm going to divide this screen. On the left, I'm going to have the visual. So it's this one. So just for see what I have. And I'm going to inside of this container 3, and I can create maybe, we have options. I know there is a OP viewer. Can select that, and I'm going to drag this out, and I can have access to this one. And I can see my banana. Obviously, we can go here. We can change fill. So everything is try to be in the same resolution. Obviously, my resolution here is different, but it's like it's covering everything for me. It's okay. And the other container, we can add information. For example, remember our effect here on the left, we have opacity and scale. We can add maybe sliders here inside. Slider 1 and slider 2. And both I'm going to select layout. I try to put fill. Going to out. In the container, again, we have 2 objects. I'm going to put children. I'm going to select top and bottom. It's like, what is that? Don't worry, we can put separation so we can see what's going on. So we have these parameters, and what we can do is maybe send the information of these things. For example, what I'm going to do is active this. We have this slider. We have the value. I'm going to copy and paste here. Paste value. And the other, the same. Copy, paste value. Oh, sorry, paste value, no, paste reference. Sorry, copy parameter, paste reference. So what I did, I'm going to see my visual, sorry, here inside, we have our visual, go out. So right now, we have these 2 sliders. If I moved, it's affecting the duplication, the scale. So the cool thing, I can open this right button, view, and I can see my visual and say, oh, I want to change the scale, the repetition, and everything. Okay, so we can do things like that, controlling this. But you can see these sliders they are not good. It's like no name, nothing. So the cool thing here in palettes, we have more informations or more tools. We have these basics widgets. So here we have, for example, slider 2D. I can put, you have more information. This is slider 2D. We have slider horizontal. I like more with all of this because we can put more information. For example, we have value. This will be, for example, opacity. Opacity. Perfect. And the opacity, we can check the value 0 to 1. Yeah, I like it. So what I'm going to do first, layout, I'm going to put fill. Yeah, fill walnut. And what I'm going to do is copy again this value, and I'm going to paste it to opacity reference. And we need to send a scale. And for this, I'm going to copy again this one and paste, and we're going to change to scale. We need to know that this value is between 0 and 1. But the scale in this case can be, remember, between 0 and 1.5. How we can change that? We can maybe create a null here, detect the value, create a math. And then with the math, we can create a range between 0 and 1, and we will be between 0 and 1.5. And we can send this data to the scale. Okay, another thing that I do sometimes is go to this customize component. And because it's a customize, we know how this works. We can go to value and we can change this. Right now it's clamp min, mine, and clamp maximum. I'm going to put 1.5. So when I do that, sorry, I need to change these two, not the climb, so this one, the range, that 5. So I'm going to delete this one. It's depending on how you want to do it. And then I'm going to copy this value and send to the scale reference. So right now I'm going to back. I'm going to open this view. I have opacity. Now I understand what is affecting. And now I have a scale. And I can change that. And I can see the parameters, the value of that. So that is the cool with the these tools. We can create many things. Even it's like, okay, we have this tool, this container. So for example, what happens if I want to add more parameters? We can add more here. Or what happens if I want to divide this area in 2? What I will do? So for me, what I will do, I'm going to copy. And now I'm going to put this container there. I'm going to create another container. This just in case I'm going to put fill, children not in look. I'm going to put this red so you can identify what's happening. So I'm going to create another container. And this container is going to hold these 2. This container, we need children left or right. So right now you can see left and right this new one. I'm going to put it again layout, fill, and then I'm going to connect these 2 here. So first we need to fix a few things again. See how this works. Top to bottom. So yeah. So you can see when I disconnect and connect, it's like the system was like an error. Just you need to like reset and understand, yeah, again, I need to this tab on the bottom. So right now we have this view, we have the preview of visual, we have the slider again, smaller, and we have a new area where we can insert new information. So yeah, for me, create user interface is for help me to maybe control a few things with my visuals when I don't have a MIDI controller, or when the MIDI controller is small with a few buttons and I need more tools for setup or visuals. So you can check here, you have a lot, you can control color, you can see RGB, you have even, you can bring folders, you have buttons, different type of buttons, floats, numbers, a lot of things. So yeah, you can try it and see what happened. But for me, it's important to have the control outside. So for me, what I will do, just in case, we create a container with the size. I will copy all of these ones and going to paste it here. I will have everything here. And again, I need to fix these connections just in case. Copy the opacity, paste the opacity, copy the scale. So right now, I'm going to just leave you there. You can open this. Ah, I forgot the visual here. How open view, and I drag the out. So right now, I open that and I have access to the information. So for me, I try to have this container like the main tool for user interface. In here, I have my visual and everything controlled. Even you can create a button here inside for maybe open the windows or not for this tool. So yeah, this is the this is the components video. You have more things. Even you can bring, just in case, a SBX, a 3D. And the cool thing, yeah, you can, I show you this in the subpad. You can have control of that. And you have more information on more advancing things with NVIDIA flows. It's like, yeah, or the bullet is particles, more advanced, just in case. But yeah, this is the most important thing. I think for you will be the window of how we show your visual in a projector. And the second one will be create your components. And the third one will be create this user interface for control everything. So I hope you like it. And I think this is no, this is not the final video. We have another one for tips, important things. So see you there. Bye.